Hi guys, so quick video right now. I think this is important because it has to do with all of the stuff that we do, but Adobe just released a new update to their terms of services. So this was published, as you can see here, June 18, 2024, after the fiasco a couple of weeks ago. They are now correcting especially 4.1 and 4.2, which were the things that were really like important for us, right? The privacy things and stuff like that. So there we go. The first one is right here. Section 4 means your content is your content. You own it and we don't. That's good. It's good that it's as clear as this. It's good that there's no way that they can now sort of like backdoor and find another like legal way to use our content, which is again great. Now, if we go here a little bit lower, we're gonna find one of the issues that everyone was complaining about, which was the licensing, right? If you didn't saw, that was scary, guys. There was a clause on the last, again, the last terms of service where they literally said we can use, distribute, like reuse, reinterpret it, like everything, everywhere, at any time, anywhere in the world. So it was just like super scary. So they clarified right here: it's your content. We need this license so that we can provide our products and services to you, and you will choose whether you want to share your content publicly or privately along the things. And I do understand, because they do mention that, for instance, if you're publishing to Behance, they need to take whatever it is you're publishing to Behance from your applications and move it to this sort of like other app, which is Behance. And technically, they need your permission to do that movement. Otherwise, you are going to have to go to Behance and do that sort of like connection yourself. So it's understandable that they're trying to protect themselves by adding these sort of clauses, but this one is very, I would say, encouraging. It says this license does not give us permission to trade generative AI models with your content or your customers' content. We don't train generative AI models on your or your customers' content unless you've submitted the content to the Adobe Stock Marketplace. Now, technically, with this thing right here, with this sort of like a legal requirement or legal term that they're now adding, they shouldn't do it. Will they do it? Will they not do it? I mean, it's a little bit difficult to be completely or 100% sure, but now, especially, I think this is going to be especially helpful for very famous artists. So if someone that's very famous and has a very particular style can definitely prove that there was some sort of like generative use of their stuff for some of this AI models, that would be very good, because now they're saying that they shouldn't be able to do it, or they're not going to do it, and that gives, I think, us as customers an extra layer of protection. Now here they explain, and again, I really appreciate that they went through the whole problem of explaining why this is said. For instance, they say we need your permission so that we can operate the services and softwares on your behalf. So we're not going to be using it, we're not going to be using your content for anything else than the operation of the softwares that we already use. For instance, reproduce, it means that if you upload this to your cloud content and they need to duplicate your file and save it on another server, they need permission to reproduce your files. Makes sense. Distribute, same thing. If they need to send this to cloud content and you're sharing this with someone in your family, because there's now this thing where you can, again, work sort of like at the same time on the same element, they need to be able to distribute that element to other users. Again, makes sense. Create derivative works. This one is the one that's a little bit tricky, because it doesn't specify. I mean, it gives a couple of examples, but it doesn't really specify what other kinds of derivative work they could do, right? So they say to compress an image to use as a thumbnail, to remove an image background at your direction, to translate the cloud content into another language. Like, I get it. I understand that they're considering, again, the creation of the thumbnail technically a derivative work, because it's not the original. It's something that is born from that original one. So again, I understand, but it's a little bit open-ended, right? Like this derivative work things. Publicly display, I agree. It says, for example, for an image or document, to publish the image or document on a public property such as Behance, I think that I was mentioning, third-party platforms and things like that. But not to use your image or document to market or promote Adobe. This, I think, is very important. Like, if we're making something very cool with any of the Adobe softwares, you should be the one that gets any sort of like reward if they use it for their own publicity. If they want to use it, they should hire you, they should buy the rights from you, there should be some sort of deal. They should not be allowed to just be like, oh, look at what this guy did, let's use it to promote the program, right? That I think it's good that they're being very clear about that they're not going to be using this to promote or do something. Publicly performed to enable the playback of a video on public properties or third-party platforms at your direction, but not to use the video to make or promote Adobe. Again, makes sense. And sub-license, this says, we utilize trusted cloud infrastructure providers and content delivery networks subject to confidentiality and privacy restrictions. So again, it's like, hey, we need these permissions so that we can give you the service. Now, is this a good step, or is this a step towards the right direction? I would say this. I definitely feel a little bit more safe. I mean, I'm not a big player, to be honest. Like, I'm not dealing with super confidential NDA work all the time. So I know that it's not going to really affect me, but we should never use that metric because it might affect someone else. And those are the ones that we should be paying attention to that type of conversations. So I do think that this new terms of service is really important. I do feel like this is a step in the right direction. They're being way, way, way more clear. I don't think they're going to be revising more. I'm sure people online are going to be like, oh, they should clarify this and this and this even more. Unless there's a lot of like noise around this specific thing, I don't think they're going to revise things more. I think this is again, like a good enough compromise. And I mean, at least we should be safe for the time being on how these things are, or how the softwares are going to be utilizing our content. So yeah, this is a hot topic, of course. There's a lot of discussion around this. Been a lot of discussion around this for the past couple of weeks. So let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Is this the redemption of Adobe? Are we okay with them now? Are you happy with the direction of this new terms and services, or should we actually like ask for more protection and for more security out of them? Well, that's something that you're gonna help me decide here in the comments. So thank you guys, and I'll see you back on the next one.